We welcome you to Pittsburgh. It is February 1st and the rivers are frozen. Thankfully, we are inside the historic Fitzgerald Fieldhouse for ACC Gymnastics today between the Pitt Panthers and the NC State Wolfpack for the My Cause meet. Jeff Hathorn, former NCAA gymnast Olivia Miller. You know, NC State had to come here a day early to avoid weather complications, and it's really been something where these athletes have had to learn to be resilient.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, weather challenges happen all the time, but it requires a lot of tenacity, resilience, and adaptability on the athlete side to make sure you're ready for, competition day and everything.
NC State comes in ranked 21st. What are some of the routines we should be looking for?
Yeah, NC State has been doing fantastic this season. They, are really looking forward to having a great competition here against the Panthers. A couple routines to watch: Ellie Hadrick, Jenna Rusk, Sanaya Thomas, bars and floor especially, but, looking at the floor routines over at NC State, they have a really great floor routine and great floor team, so they're really looking forward to all of it.
Yeah, and Rusk is someone that's really worked hard in the offseason and earned opportunities this year for the Panthers, who competed 45 hours ago in West Virginia.
Yeah, that can be challenging having a quick turnaround, but it's great to have another opportunity at home here against NC State. A couple of routines to watch. Layla Green had her collegiate debut over on bars with a 9.85. Copperwheat has been fantastic over on beam, and then we have two great floor routines to watch from Jamie Lee and Mika Lee. The fantastic routines, and we're looking forward to a great competition here against the Wolfpack.
The Panthers will start an Olympic competition, meaning Pitt will start on the vault and NC State on bars for vault, Olivia.
Yeah, vault has a lot of great things to be watching for. The biggest thing is that start value, talking about that starting at a perfect 10, and then we also have, execution, how high the block is on the vault, how great and small the landings are a couple just small things to watch here from the Panthers over on vault.
And for NC State over on bars?
Yeah, bars also in general, you're really focusing on making sure you're hitting all of those handstands perfectly vertical, high-flying releases, not only catching the releases, but making sure they have great amplitude. And then the dismount is always the biggest thing, making sure you have the biggest dismount with the smallest landings.
Layla Bobek will get this started for the Panthers, the freshman. And it's interesting lineups for the Panthers in that there are freshmen sprinkled in all over, and they've made an impact in their first season.
Yeah, that's one of the things that Casey Joe really kind of emphasizes, that there's a lot of youthful experience and youthful excitement here from the Panthers. And starting off here with a huge Yurchenko full, small hop there on the landing, but great amplitude and great block for the start with the Panthers.
So we are underway here in Pittsburgh. Bobek will be followed by Pileggi, Grant, Duke, Genta, and Green. For NC State, Ava Myers will lead us off.
And Ava being one of those incredible sophomores here from NC State, that was something that, talking with head coach Kim Landris, she says that sophomore class has a lot to bring, not just from, a leadership perspective, but from a gymnastics perspective as well. So something to watch here for the Wolfpack. Starting off here with a Maloney back down to low bar with a shoot over. Back up to the high bar. Preparing here for her dismount. Small form break there on that blind full, straight into a double tuck. But a really great stuck landing and a fantastic way for the Wolfpack to start off their rotation.
Ava Myers, 6 podium finishes as a freshman.
Yeah, one of those great leaders there on the NC State Wolfpack team. We're looking forward to seeing what they have to bring here.
Lila, local from here in the Pittsburgh area, just a sophomore. As we await the score for Bobek.
One of the things that you can kind of talk about over on vault for the Panthers is, a lot of them have Yurchenko fulls. All of them pretty much have Yurchenko fulls, which that start value in NCAA gymnastics is a 9.95. So the highest possible score that athlete can get is a 9.95, as opposed to a perfect 10. So that's something that, you're really focusing on, making sure all those landings are super small. And again, pretty much an exact repeat copy there. Yurchenko full, small hop on the landing. But again, her hips are open, she has great amplitude. In general, execution-wise, you can kind of take another look here. Small foot separation, but overall, she opens up, finds that landing, and just a small little hop. But a great vault there for Lila.
9.775 it looks like. To start out for Bobek. Jenna Rusk. I've heard a lot about her as being one of those people that really worked so hard and got themselves into a position to be in the lineup.
Yeah, you know, especially in the off season, right? It takes a lot of work to build on your skills, your execution, your routines to earn a lineup spot. You know, lineup spots are not just given, they are truly earned. So she's really worked her way into a lot of lineups today. So you can kind of, you see here, I mean, gorgeous form there, that shoot over. Her rhythm is really great. You know, she's just a little shy on that handstand, but overall, toe point is great. Straight into that double tuck there. Small little step on that landing, pulled in just a little bit. But again, a solid routine and a really great way to continue building that momentum over there for the Wolfpack.
I know it's after a great 9.85 from Myers to get NC State started.
Fantastic way for the Wolfpack to start over on bars. You know, one of the things to think about is scores tend to build when it comes to a lineup. You know, you start with some of your most consistent athletes, and then you hope to kind of incrementally build as you go down the lineup.
Canadian Mackenzie Grant.
Another Yurchenko full, small little pike down there. But overall, again, super small hop, and
I'm gonna guess a 9.775.
you know, potentially. That's something that Pitt's really been kind of focusing on is consistency and building the consistency through the lineup. So that's something here that so far our first 3 athletes over on vault have really showed.
How much do the first couple of routines set the tone for a meet?
Yeah, that's a really important skill and trait to have as a leading off athlete or first couple of athletes is, you know, you want to start off strong and you want to be able to have the athletes following you have confidence and there's no stress, right? That they're just continuing to do their job day in and day out, and that's what you really hope to see.
Maddie Reed, the senior.
Another Maloney here, back down to a low bar with a pack. Nice and floaty on that pack there. Small little separation and not quite vertical on that pirouette. A really great hit handstand there as we gear up for the dismount. Full in, almost a stuck landing, not quite. Just gave it away a little bit on that dismount, but overall, again, third solid hit routine there from the Wolfpack.
9.7 for Rusk.
We'll take a look here at that dismount. Huge full in. Almost just a little shuffle with that left foot, but almost found that landing. But again, really, really solid routine.
From Canadian to Canadian, Kennedy Duke, senior from British Columbia.
You know, and a senior that's been a staple in this vault lineup for 4 years, so really great. Yurchenko full, almost a stuck landing, small step back. But again, another athlete that can really just repeat in and out, day to day, that same vault, which truly is a skill.
And Olivia, I was wrong about the 9.775, 9.8 for Mackenzie Grant.
Yeah, and that's showing you some building from routine to routine, which is what you want to see in a lineup.
Carolyn Vogt, see her average for the season.
You know, and that's one of those averages that you're just looking to continue to build on, right? This is still a little bit too early for what's called the national qualifying score, which helps to kind of, you know, eliminate some of the maybe the lower scores that you might have had. But that will continue to prove once national qualifying scores start.
She might like seeing all the blue and gold. She won bars against the Panthers last year as a freshman.
Yeah, she has a lot of experience under her belt already as a sophomore, which is fantastic. And she's one of the, you know, athletes that head coach Ken Landris kind of talked about being a great leader on the team. So something to really watch for here. And, you know, being a leader isn't just being a competitor. Being a leader is being vocal, being, you an encouraging member of the team that really brings a lot of experience in many realms. Starting off here with Array. A little far on that catch there, but connected right back down to the shoot over, so she really reached for that. Beautiful hit handstand, just the dismount. Gorgeous, really floaty double layout. She had a lot of air time there to really spot the landing and find that stick.
That was after a 9.75 from Reed.
Take a look at that dismount. She really lets her toes really go up, which allows her to get a lot of amplitude on that dismount and really kind of spot and see that landing.
After a 9.75, Olivia Genta.
And she's coming off of a career high 9.825 on this event from Friday night. Gorgeous Yurchenko full, and she gets a lot of distance from the table there. You can kind of see that she not only gets a huge block, gives her a lot of amplitude, but she also gets a lot of distance too, kind of showing that she has a little bit of a combo of everything, which is great.
I don't think it's really arguable. This is the best vault that the Panthers have done in their fourth meet this year.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's been an event that's been building, right? But now that's kind of talking about dialing in the landings. At this point, everybody can do their vaults. It's just a matter of, again, how picky can you be about that execution and how small can you make that landing?
Hadrick up next for NC State.
In her last time out, Hadrick actually won the event. So she has currently one win over on bars already this season. So that's just showing you that she has a lot of great potential in this routine.
And did it against Cal, who's very good on bars.
Yeah, and that's challenging to do. Cal has a great, bar routines. They have a lot of great athletes over there, so a routine to watch for sure. Starting off with a really nice handstand already. Michelle Yeager back down to the low bar with the shoot over, and I don't think I've seen her feet separate once, which is incredible. Beautiful hit handstand. She kind of holds it there. Just the dismount. Kind of a little half in, half out. Can't quite tell from her ankle if she stuck it or not. We'll have to take probably another look at that.
But another great performance on bars.
Absolutely, and that's, a really great, really experienced athlete here. We'll take a look at that dismount there. Almost a stick, just the tiniest little hop back, but again, she really didn't leave much opportunity for the judges to take anything there.
A 9.8 for Genta. So now Green goes with the lowest score, a 9.75.
And again, another Yurchenko full. Pretty much looked like almost all the rest of them. A nice, a little hop back, but again, her hips are open, no piking down. Just one of the things that you really want to make sure you're emphasizing over on vault. But a great rotation for the Panthers.
Panthers are 29th. NC State comes in 21st, and if you're going to upset the Wolfpack, you got to have a good start, and Panthers did have a really good start on vault.
Absolutely, that's something that I'm sure they're looking to just really capitalize on as they move over to bars for their next rotation. Another strong event historically for the Panthers. They did very well on Friday, so I'm sure they're looking forward to kind of continuing that momentum.
Katie Harper is from Columbus, Ohio. 7 podium finishes last year, 10 as a freshman.
Yeah, Katie Harper, yet again, another one of those really, great athletes, a great leader on this, Wolfpack team, and coming after a huge 9.875 from Hadrick. Ginger just unfortunately kind of that one hand slipped there, but was able to kind of hold on. Just an incredible feat to have. So unfortunately just looking to kind of finish this routine strong here and minimize the deductions. But fortunately in gymnastics there are 6 routines that go, and one of those scores can be dropped. So there will be 5 counting scores, and unfortunately that will be a score that the NC State Wolfpack is most likely looking to drop, but they had 5 prior routines that were great. So you see there that Ginger was a great catch, but just had a little bit of a slip up on that one hand. But again, the finish was fantastic. Huge double layout. Just a small hop forward. Disappointing, but again, something that the Wolfpack can kind of drop.
So it doesn't look like the Panthers are going to do an exhibition on vault. NC State is scheduled for Emerson Fisk to do Autumn Reardon to do an exhibition.
exhibition spot is, for all the viewers, an exhibition is basically an opportunity for an athlete to do a competitive routine and get judged in a competition. However, that score will not be counted towards the team total. So it's just an opportunity for somebody who has been competing in an event to kind of showcase their routine in a pressure situation. And it's a great opportunity for a coaching staff to kind of analyze how they respond and how they do. So, you see oftentimes exhibition routines kind of work their way into a lineup.
Panthers just barely below a 49 on vault to start.
Yeah, and already, a pretty tight competition here, just .025 kind of separating the two teams. But at that 49 mark is something that, each team is really looking to kind of achieve, because, having an average of about a 49 on each event puts the team at about a 196, which truly, when we're talking about postseason, that 196 mark plus is pretty huge for being able to make, regionals, qualifying in NCAAs and all that.
So we knew that NC State was going to drop the last score. I would say both teams are probably excited or feel good about their first rotation. Here's Autumn. Another one from the Columbus area.
Unfortunately, that 9-0 from Katie Harper will be the drop score for the Wolfpack, as expected. We'll take a look here at this exhibition. Strahl Jaeger back down to Lamar, the shoot over. Just a little bit overshot that shoot over, so kind of has to drop her feet. But a really strong handstand. And a beautiful double front and really unique dismount. Unfortunately, just the slightest bit kind of under rotated, so has to take a large step back. But again, a solid kind of opportunity for an athlete to go out there and, do an exhibition routine.
Well, I don't know if it'd be possible to be any closer than we are after one rotation. It's the Panthers and Wolfpack ACC Gymnastics here in Pittsburgh. Panthers huddling up as they move to bars and NC State over to vault. You see how tight it is after one rotation. Casey Jo McPherson, the head coach of the Pitt Panthers in her third year.
Take a look here at this vault from Layla Green. Beautiful 9-8 and this huge Yurchenko full. You can kind of take a look here and lots of amplitude off the table. Great form, just a little bit on that landing with that hop, but a really great, strong rotation for the Panthers over on vault.
And for NC State, the first five were very good performances.
Take a look here at Hadrick's bar routine with a huge straddle Jaeger. This went 9-8-7-5 and kind of led the Wolfpack with a really strong rotation over on bars, and they're looking forward to carrying that momentum onto the second event over on vault.
I just realized how she ended with the Wolfpack signal at the end, as you see the Panthers warming up on bars. NC State's head coach is Kim Landris in her 9th season with NC State. 147, 81, and 4.
Yeah, the NC State Wolfpack, especially over the last few years, has really, grown as a program. They've made it into postseason multiple times over the last few years. They were the 2024 ACC champs, so they had a lot of experience over there. A lot of really, they're building a really great program, and they've done really, really well over the past few years.
You see the consecutive NCAA bursts. She was two-time Eagle Coach of the Year when it was the Eagle Conference, and spent 15 years at Illinois, 7 as a head coach. She's Iowa State's first ever national qualifier as a competitor and is in the Iowa State Hall of Fame.
Yeah, talking about head coaches, almost every head coach of a gymnastics program probably was a collegiate athlete at some point. Those that can kind of, birthed some of the greatest head coaches of all times, taking a look throughout all the NCAA, bringing that experience adds a new level. You can relate to your athletes very well, and you kind of know what it takes to build a dedicated program.
I wonder who was first to look up YouTube highlights of her or Casey Jo McPherson who is also a very good gymnast in her own right in her 3rd season. She was an 8-time All-American at Arkansas, obviously coached at Missouri, also at Western Michigan and at Arkansas.
Yeah, Casey Joe brings a lot of experience here to this, Panthers team, and they're still working on kind of, making their way into postseason, which I know is a big goal here for the Panthers this upcoming season. But again, they're really hoping to kind of build on that. But she brings a lot of experience and a lot of success over from Missouri, so looking to kind of carry that over here to the Panthers, primarily kind of that beam coach, but really, head coach, and brings a lot of experience everywhere.
We'll take a quick timeout. We'll be back with rotation number 2 between the Panthers and Wolfpack here in Pittsburgh. Rotation number 2, the Panthers on bars and NC State on the vault. Leading off for NC State is Lauren Wright over on vault. You see the Panthers getting fired up on bars.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of great things to look here for this rotation. NC State is currently ranked 15th over on vault, and currently their average, again, this is an average, not a national qualifying score quite yet, is over a 49. Kind of reached to that 49 mark, so they're a really strong vault team, and again, just like we saw with the Panthers, looking for big vaults with small landings.
Lauren Wright is a Pennsylvanian from Wallingford, Pennsylvania. Last year as a sophomore, one time hit the podium, had a 9.85 in the NCAAs on vault.
And again, just like we talked about, that first athlete being somebody that's experienced, and Lauren is kind of that athlete. She has not only the execution but also the experience under her belt to kind of start this rotation off very strong.
A slim lead for NC State after the first rotation as we get set to go.
Huge Yurchenko full, and truly just kind of drills that landing. Chest was up and not a single foot movement, so what a great way to start for the Wolfpack. We'll take a look here at that vault one more time. I really liked that she kind of she was straight the entire way, and she really kind of nailed that landing and not a single foot movement, so that was great.
Spectacular start for NC State in rotation 2. Kennedy Duke, who's competed in vault.
We see here she gets ready to start her bar routine. Another athlete that is a great athlete to lead off. She's been in this lineup now for 4 years, so has again a lot of experience, which we love to see here from the Panthers. Short there on that first handstand. Starting with Maloney back down to low bar with a pack. more vertical on that handstand, blindfold, straight into a double tuck. Almost a stuck landing, but unfortunately just a little bit under-rotated, so takes that step forward. But a solid routine to start off the Panthers bar lineup.
And right with a 9.75. So now Emerson Fisk for NC State. Fisk, just a freshman from Florida. I'm sure she's glad to be inside.
Absolutely. Definitely a little bit of a colder climate up here.
It was -11 yesterday when NC State would have gotten up in Pittsburgh. Actual temperature.
Yurchenko full, a lot of power there. Unfortunately, just not quite controlled on that landing, so she kind of takes a big hop back, which I suspect kind of a larger deduction for sure on that landing. But again, just a freshman, so she's still looking to kind of find her footing when it comes to landings, execution, all those kind of things. But a lot of great potential from her for sure.
How difficult is that to contain that power?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is challenging. For sure, not only having a big vault, but having a big vault with a pretty drilled-in landing is definitely hard. And especially being a freshman, usually you're just very excited to compete. You have a lot of kind of enthusiasm behind it. So looking to kind of balance the two for sure, which is something that I know that actually head coach Casey Joe had talked about with her athletes. Was talking about bringing that enthusiasm, that experience, and being grateful for all the opportunities that you have.
9.75 for Duke. Now Cameron.
She has been, made her way into this lineup there this year more than any year so far, which is fantastic for her. She has a lot of great execution. You see she hits great handstands, really great form. A sophomore that comes all the way from Hawaii.
Started the season with a 9.85 on bars.
And a gorgeous blindfold double tuck and a beautiful stuck landing. You can see she's happy and excited about that, as is her entire team there. Take a look here at that dismount one more time. Blindfold straight into a double tuck and really just finds that landing, and you can see she is thrilled about that. Just continuing to kind of build her experience. That's a fantastic routine for Chu.
Autumn Reardon.
And Autumn actually one of the ACC newcomer watch list, so somebody to really take a look at. Huge pike half, small hop on the landing. But again, that is a 10-0 start value from NC State, which is huge. Having that ability to have a 10-0 start value in the lineup only helps to kind of bring that scoring potential up for the Wolfpack.
See the 9.6 for Fisk.
Yeah, unfortunately, all that deduction kind of came from that large hop on the landing.
Reardon, a two-time vault champ.
You see here, still looking for Chu's score, but I did see a 9.9 flash by one of the judges, which I know would be a career high, but we'd have to see kind of what the average turns out to be.
There's some celebrating. And a 9.9 it is.
And that will be a career high for Chu. So, now that we've had a 9.75, a 9.9, I know that Layla Green talking about another athlete that just reached a career high and a college debut mark with a 9.85 from Friday night. And actually an athlete that was in an exhibition spot earlier this season and now has made her way into the lineup. It's a really unique combination here. Loney half straight back down to low bar with a straddle back and really hitting that emphasis on that handstand, has to arch a little bit to save it. Just the dismount here, blindfold, straight into a double tuck. Step back on that landing in there. Looks like she just kind of lost her footing a little bit, so unfortunately has to take a step with a little bit of a depth squat, but we'll take a look here. There's that straddle back. She overshot just a little bit, so she has to kind of arch to save it, but a lot of fight and tenacity from her.
I was going to say there was a lot of fight in this routine, all the way to right here. Holding on. Ava Myers will be next for NC State. 9.675 for Reardon.
Huge Yurchenko full, and again, really just drills that landing.
Well, that's just what NC State needed right at that moment.
Absolutely, kind of like what we saw from Lauren Wright. She really has a huge Yurchenko full. We'll take another look here. Take a look at the amplitude she gets off the table. Lots of amplitude.
She has an interesting combination. You don't see many gymnasts whose siblings are also basketball players. Her sister is a college basketball player.
Yeah, athleticism runs in that family.
Yeah, her dad was a football player at Boston U. Now, Julie Madso, the junior from Norway, part of a very international team here at the University of Pittsburgh.
Yeah, we see a lot of athletes here from Pitt, from all across the country and truly across the world. Not only do we have, athletes from various states as far as Alaska and Hawaii, but we also have athletes who are international, Canada, Norway. A lot of great athletes here that come from all over the world. Starting off here, Maloney down to low bar with a shoot over. A little bit of a small foot separation there. Pike half dismount. Beautiful stuck landing. Her chest was up, and you can see Julie was pretty excited.
She wasn't
about
quite
that
finished.
routine.
She had a worm that finished off the landing.
Hopefully that gives her a bonus or something. Take a look here at that dismount. What I really love about this dismount from her is she not only finds the landing, but this time she had a really great chest up landing, and then you can see there drops right into the worm. I think that's at least a half tent bonus last I checked.
I didn't realize the worm originated in Norway.
Apparently so, and it's got Julie's name on it.
Sanaya Thomas for the first time today.
Huge vault. Huge vault. I think she just had a small shuffle of that right foot. And what I love about her vault is she's very patient in the air. She kind of takes her time coming and blocking up off the table and then twisting. Watch here as she blocks. She blocks and then waits for a nice half a second before she initiates the twist, which really helps to, bring that amplitude to that vault. And then, again, small landing, chest up, but a great vault from Sanaya Thomas.
These last two performers for NC State really stepping up. Jamie Pratt, her final season with the Panthers, is up next.
And Jamie has a routine definitely to watch over here on bars. What I love about Jamie's bar routine is that her toe point and her execution is really spot on, which not only does she hit her handstands, but it just adds the extra touch that you really need to be a high scoring potential here.
It's like a 9.8 for Julie.
And something else here to notice is all the girls here from Pitt have ribbons in their hair, kind of indicating what cause they're supporting. And Jamie has a green ribbon indicating she is supporting cerebral palsy. And so far, a great routine here from Jamie. And just the dismount left here. Beautiful double layout. Legs are pretty much glued together. Just a small step back on that landing. A really great routine there from the senior.
So after a couple of 9.6s on vault, now Ali Hadrick after a 9.8 and a 9.875 from Sanaya Thomas.
Huge vault for sure, and a really great score to add to the Wolfpack lineup. Yurchenko full, small hop in the landing. Not quite as much amplitude as we saw from Thomas, but again, a really solid way for the Wolfpack to kind of finish up their counting lineups over on vault.
You see why they're so good at it. And their depth, they've got 1 through 6, can put up big scores. For the Panthers, Hallie Copperwheat, whose family is here from England.
Yeah, I'm sure it's been wonderful to have her family here. We're able to travel down to West Virginia to watch her compete, but now are here back in the field house watching Hallie compete at home for her 5th year in her final season here with the Panthers. You know, another thing to watch from Hallie, not only is she a great leader in and out of the gym, but she's a great athlete, but watch her Jaeger for sure. I mean, it's huge, so she has a great scoring potential over on this event. And brings a lot of experience as well, which is huge. Starting up here, blind into a huge Jaeger, caught way above the bar there. Back down to low bar here with the shoot over. Gorgeous form, no feet separation, and just the dismount here. Huge full in, just a small hop there in the landing. But a really, really solid routine there for the Panthers, and you can see Hallie is super excited about that.
Imagine the excitement of having your family here and then performing like that. What we've seen from both sides is not that they're necessarily paying attention to the other, but it's one stepping up, the other stepping up. We've seen a back and forth here of where they've raised each other's game.
Absolutely, it's been truly back and forth, which makes for an exciting competition, and really kind of, they're on the toes of each other. So every routine really does count, and every little bit of, deduction will really matter here.
And Jenna Rusk will do an exhibition for NC State.
Oh, really interesting there. She kind of had a half onto the table, front tuck off. Can be a very challenging landing. It's a front kind of landing, so it's a blind landing. You really have to be able to anticipate kind of what that looks like.
Seems to be some excitement over the Panthers, and understandably so. A second 9-9. This one from the senior Hallie Copperwheat.
And I'm sure Hallie as a 5th year is super excited about that. I mean, it can be challenging coming back for a 5th year. Obviously now you've been competing in the NCAA for many, many years, and it can be challenging to make sure you're healthy enough and strong enough to do that. And Hallie's done a great job of that. Take a look here with Mika Lee, her exhibition routine over on bars. She's been a little bit in and out of the lineup on this event. We're looking to kind of build some consistency and really hit all those handstands. Blind full into a double tuck. Unfortunately, a little bit didn't quite anticipate that landing, but again, a hit routine that is looking to kind of just continue to build strength as she goes through the season.
The Panthers with a pair of 9-9s and have taken the lead here after 2 rotations in Pittsburgh. The Panthers have taken the lead. Hallie Copperwheat with one of those, Cameron Chu with the other, as Panthers a 98-1 to a 97-725. 97-725. NC State, Shania Thomas was outstanding.
This huge Yurchenko full, watch as she waits for a second before she twists and just really finds that landing. A huge 9875 there for the Wolfpack that really kind of helped them to keep on the Panthers' heels as they continued on with that rotation. You can see the excitement there from her and her teammates. Heading over to bars here, we have 2 9-9s, one of which being from sophomore Cameron Chu. Just gorgeous bar routine, feet were glued together and all the way up until a dismount. Really drilled her double tuck with a gorgeous landing and a huge celebration. And then here from the 5th year, Hallie Copperwheat with a huge Jaeger, a beautiful bar routine. Not quite a career high, but definitely a season high here for her over on that event. We'll take a look here at that dismount. She just really had a huge routine, small hop, but something that I know she's really excited about and carrying that momentum over to beam for the Panthers.
It is the Panthers' My Cause meet, and you see ribbons in the Panthers' hair, and they represent different causes.
Yeah, and that's one of the biggest things when you're talking about gymnastics, just in general. Like, it's always a little bit bigger than you, right? Everybody has a different reason to, that they do what they do, right? A couple of the causes here being lupus, ALS, throat cancer, mental health awareness. There are a lot of different causes that, are bigger than the athlete, and something that they're just kind of keeping in the back of their minds here as they go and compete. You can kind of see they all have different colored ribbons representing their respective causes, which, again, just really is a nice touch to kind of bring a little bit more to their gymnastics.
And it's cool about gymnastics that pretty much every meet there is some type of cause or some type of benefit that the meet is tied with.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always nice that gymnastics meets usually have some kind of theme associated with it, which is really exciting to kind of see. But all in all, we're having a great time here in the field house, and I know every athlete has something in their mind here a little bit extra special tonight.
We'll be back with rotation number 3 here in Pittsburgh. The Panthers out in front. Green for the University of Pittsburgh taking in the action today as NC State moves to floor, and we mention that because NC State is one of the best in the country on floor.
Yeah, NC State is currently ranked 14th over on that event nationwide with that average. Yet again, like we talked about with vault, their average is above a 49 at 49.208, which again, that will transition to national qualifying score here in the next couple of weeks. But even Sanaya Thomas, definitely a routine to watch, as we mentioned earlier. She has 2.99 or better scores already this season, and that's huge for it. Only truly, I guess not necessarily being the end of January now, but the beginning of February.
And against Clemson, both Thomas and Ellie Hadrick had 9.9s and a 49 or 49.3 in that meet against the 14th ranked Tigers.
Yeah, definitely.
Now the Panthers go after a really good bar routine and a pair of 9.9s. Now they head to the beam.
Yeah, the Panthers are really looking to kind of build some, not only consistency, because they have been truly relatively consistent, but more so just eliminating some of those little balance errors and those little things that help when it comes to a team score. They struggled a little bit over on this event Friday night, so they're looking to kind of bring it back here for their home meet here in the field house. Mika Lee here, a sophomore who's been very consistent kind of as their lead off here. Starting off here with her series, that handspring back layout. And something I love to watch over on beam is, athletes that have their eyes up, their chin up, the entire routine not only just shows that they are confident, but just adds a little bit of presentation to the routine itself. Front pike toss there, which she struggled on that on Friday evening, so great to see that there are no balance errors there, just the dismount left for Lee. Round off 1.5. Small hop forward, but a really strong routine and a great rebound from Friday night for Lee.
So Mika Lee gets it started on beam at a pair of 9.7s, 9.7 pluses heading into Friday night.
And you can see how excited they are. Just, again, starting off strong and building that momentum through each routine will be huge there over on beam.
Katie Harper will lead off. A couple of 9.775s this season for Harper on the floor.
You look for each of these athletes to kind of bring out their personality and creativity over on this event. 1.5 front layout. Looks like she kind of missed her punch, unfortunately, so had to do a 1.5 front tuck, which potentially could impact her start value over on this event, kind of pending what other bonus connections she has here. Over in the corner, assistant coach Emily Gaskins, a former Alabama gymnast herself. Her 3rd season now with the Wolfpack. Second pass here for Harper. Front Rudy, really solid landing. Her chest was up.
A good start for NC State. 9.75 for Make the Lee, by the way.
We'll take a look here at this first pass. You know, she had a round off 1.5. It looks like she just quite didn't hit that punch. You know, she was a little bit loose on that punch, which therefore didn't give her quite the amplitude that she was hoping for on that second pass. Looks like she had to kind of tuck that instead of making that what presumably would be a front layout.
So Cameron Chu, after a 9.9 on bars, now to beam.
Following a strong 9.75 from Lee. You know, Chu has been, again, another athlete that's really, in her sophomore season here, has had a lot of growth and a lot of opportunity to kind of make an impact, especially not only on bars, but over here on beam. That can't swing back layout, gorgeous form. Legs are straight, toes were pointed. Front aerial. Really taking her time on that landing, showing the judges that there was no movement there. Split jump to a ring jump. Really unique kind of skill there, that ring jump. Challenging because you lose sight of the beam, you have to kind of release your head. Just the dismount here. Round off 1.5. Believe that was a stuck landing.
2 straight stuck landings for Cameron Chu.
What a night for her here. Really coming into her own here as a sophomore that's really just becoming more comfortable, and you can see that with her competition, which is really exciting to see as she continues to grow and somebody to watch for the rest of the season.
Her twin sister competes at UC Davis, but it's interesting, Kim Landris was one of 3. She's a triplet, and her sisters competed with her at Iowa State.
That's gotta be fun, you know, having to get to compete with your sister, or, you know, in this space it would be more so that Chu gets to also be an NCAA athlete just like her sister, so that really brings some fun into competing and definitely a little bit being able to relate to your sister for sure. We see here just a little bit of conference, presumably talking about that first pass and kind of what to do about that start value.
And we see some celebrating for Cameron Chu. The team has come over. Could it be?
I believe I saw a 9.9 that was flashed, so we'll see here what that average turns out to be, because they take both judges' scores and they average them, but I'm going to assume that she was very happy with that, and potentially could be a career high here for her. We'll just have to wait to see what the score truly comes in as.
She's not shy, that's for sure. Oh.
I know that her family was here at the last home meet, so not sure if they're here today, but it's exciting to have family come and watch you as well. And it does look like, indeed, Chu did go 9.9 on that event, so that will be her career high as well. So what a night here for dual 9.9s.
What a lift for the Panthers. Competing just 2 days ago, West Virginia didn't go exactly how they had hoped. And facing the number 21 team in the nation, a yearly NCAA team in NC State, and the Panthers have taken their performances to another level, and Chu is leading that direction.
Absolutely. I mean, NC State is a fantastic team. They have a lot of great athletes there, and they're obviously maybe not having 100% perfect performance here, but truly it's about how you respond to that, right? Responding to adversity is huge, and truly there hasn't been much adversity. They've been doing very well. It's just we're really working kind of back and forth on each routine.
Jenna Rusk.
Again, Jenna, part of that fantastic sophomore class here, bringing so much, young, enthusiastic energy to this program and to this team. Starting off here, huge double pike, opens way before the landing and really able to kind of drill it. Gorgeous switch half with a ring there. And not only is the tumbling really important over on floor, but the leaps and the dance combos are very important, that you make sure you have all the bonus you need, all of the form and the execution as well. Second pass here for Rusk. Front layout, front full, gorgeous landing there. You can see she's smiling, she's having fun. So are her teammates there on the sidelines. Another switch ring, courgette.
We've seen classical music. Definitely a heavy rock influence.
A super fun routine there from Rusk, and that's what it's really fun to see about floor, is every gymnast has a different personality, and especially in the NCAA, it's known as being a little bit more fun, and the athletes get to kind of choose their own music, have their own choreography. Just definitely more fun than maybe their high school years.
A chance to show your personality a little bit on floor.
We'll take a look here at that leap. Really, really well executed. Switch ring, you really want to make sure you release that head all the way, and that foot truly comes on, almost hits you in the head, which she did a great job of doing that.
Career high is 9.85, a chance to beat that as we go back to beam and Layla Bobek.
Here, just a freshman over on balance beam. She has a really unique series. Standing layout. Gorgeous landing. It almost quite looks like she might have missed that foot a little bit on her first layout, but only a freshman shows some level of an experience being able to kind of work through that. That is challenging, and typically that would cause an athlete to fall, but not for Bobek.
Last year, the beam champ in the state of Ohio.
Yeah, beam is really one of her events, for sure. She's a very strong beam athlete, and that is a great skill to have as a freshman. It's been a staple so far for this pit lineup. Just the dismount here for Bobek. Gainer full, stuck landing. And a beautiful routine with a lot of grit, Like I said, I think she kind of missed her foot on that series here. We can take another look here. That first layout. And she truly, I mean, she got her foot on the beam, but definitely kind of stutter stepped.
How difficult is that to make sure you keep on that beam?
Well, it's challenging because her series is very unique in that she doesn't actually touch her hands to the beam. So all of the adjustments that she has to make are done kind of with her body and her head. So she doesn't have her hands to kind of adjust how her, you know, line is on the beam. But that just shows she's experienced, and truly her landing you wouldn't quite know.
Rusk with the 9.775. Now Emerson Fisk, freshman from Florida. Her college debut had a 9.825 on the floor.
That's got to be really exciting for her, just continuing to build as the season goes on. Beautiful double pike there. You can see her eyes up, smiling the entire time, just having fun over on this event, which is something that head coach Kim Landers kind of talked about, is just having fun on that event.
And the question is, does that impact judges? But man, if you look like you're having a good time, it does translate, even if only subliminally.
Absolutely. I mean, you, to a degree, also have to kind of have fun yourself, but showing the judges that this is an easy thing for you to do and it is fun and you are enjoying yourself, I mean, that all kind of goes into the artistry and performativity that there is over on that event, which actually can be a deduction in the NCAA, having, you know, some kind of artistry deduction. So you want to make sure you have artistry over on that event. 1.5 front layout, gorgeous landing there.
You're not saying the NCAA deducts you for having fun.
They can deduct you for not having fun, more so. No deductions here from Fisk. A great routine over there for the Wolfpack, kind of finishing with that signature Wolfpack. And 2 really great hit routines back to back for the Wolfpack.
Genta is next for Pitt. Genta, the 4th competitor on beam. Bobek with a 9.75.
Genta here made her season debut over on this event on Friday night, and it's great to see her back in the lineup again this week, or this weekend more so, 45 hours later. Back handspring, back layout. Shuttle jump to a double stag with a little bit of a beat jump. A little bit of a stutter kind of on that series, on that jump connection, so we'll be interested to see what the judges kind of do with that. I don't think it was a large enough break that they will count it as a missed connection, but we'll have to see. Just the dismount here. Front full. I believe that was a stick, but I can't quite tell if she actually had a hop forward. But again, regardless, it was a really great routine, a really strong routine here for Genta, back-to-back, twice this weekend. Front full, she kind of hangs on to it. She does have just a little bit of a hop forward, but regardless, still a really strong routine here for Genta. And a really great way to kind of continue building that momentum over on beam for the Panthers.
Autumn Reardon is up next for NC State. An exhibition on bars, but has competed in each of the next 2 events, or will compete in her 2nd.
Take a look at that floor average there at 9.842. I mean, we haven't, like I said, have not transitioned to the national qualifying score, but still a really, really strong athlete. And just like we said, this is one of those ACC newcomers that is on the ACC newcomer watch list.
And she's from Canal Winchester, Ohio. It's interesting, she won vault, bars, and beam in high school, but never won floor. And yet you saw her average in college. What's the inner monologue right now? Could you please get that score up? I want to get going.
Yeah, definitely having some conferences over there on floor, which is anticipated in the NCAA realm. You know, you kind of just learn how to honestly ignore it and just kind of take a minute to kind of do what you need to do, think about something else, and then get on to it when the judges are ready. But it is important, though, especially in the NCAA, to make sure that the judges are aligned in their scoring. It's been one of the biggest things that's been a big talk in NCAA gymnastics is, you know, eliminating some of the huge differences between scores and help kind of create consistency, which has kind of been on fire when it comes to the NCAA gymnastics world over the last kind of couple of years. So while conferences are frustrating, it can be important to make sure that there are not things that are missed.
As we wait for a score, NC State led barely after the first rotation. The Panthers took the lead after rotation number 2. It's been a series that NC State has controlled. In fact, nearly 3-point win last time down in North Carolina. Panthers toe-to-toe with the Wolfpack right now.
Yeah, and NC State, you know, this would be their second win of the 2026 season if they won today, and also their first road victory of the 2026 season. But they currently already have one conference win, so this would be their second conference win of the year, which is huge when talking about, you know, ACC regular champions and then getting you into the different kind of, you know, morning versus evening rotations when it comes to conference championship time.
9-7-2-5 is what the score ended up being for Fisk.
Front layout, front Rudy to a huge split jump there. A lot of power on that first pass. Also a lot of great expressions over on this event in combination with very powerful tumbling. Something you absolutely love to see from a floor team, which is what makes the NC State Wolfpack floor team very unique. Second pass here, 1.5 front layout. We do like to see that second pass rise a little bit higher than the first one, but our form was done very, very well. All in all, really great routine here for Meriden. And just continuing to build that momentum here for the Wolfpack. Really strong routine there, and you can see they're happy about that. Take a look here at that first pass. You see that front layout and then that front Rudy into a huge split jump. Very, very powerful tumbler. And here's that second pass there, that 1.5 front layout. Like I said, just goes down just a little bit if I'm being picky, but still a great landing. Chest was up, form was fantastic, and a really great routine there for the Wolfpack. And then from
Mally Morgan for the first time today.
From newcomer to newcomer, we have Mally here. Really unique series coming up. Side aerial back handspring. Unfortunately, a little bit off there on that series, so she does have to come off the beam. That will be a 1/2 tenth deduction over there on beam. Unfortunately, coming off of a, you know, Junta's 9.525, but it does look like that, you know, they might have taken a start value kind of for her. Unfortunately, another fall there for Mally. Really challenging double wolf turn, so a lot of difficulty here in this routine. Switch leap to beat jump there. Just the dismount here for Morgan. Round off 1.5, stuck landing. It almost looks like her foot kind of slipped a little bit on the punch there. So unfortunately a score that Pitt will be looking to kind of drop.
Allie Copperwheat will be the final competitor on beam. And Sanaya Thomas, excuse me, Ellie Hadrick, one ahead of myself. Hadrick, 9875, 999825 this year. As you see, that comes to that average. I couldn't have figured out the average. That's why I just gave the individual scores.
Yeah, I mean, another huge competitor here for the Wolfpack. Huge scoring potential. Now, the back half of this lineup here for NC State, following Raridan's 9875, Hadrick did continue to build with that.
Big score for Raridan.
Opening pass here. Front layout, front Rudy. I love NC State's done a really great job executing all of their leaps. Something that seems maybe easy to do well, but is very important that they're precise on all of their turns, hitting their 180s. It's really, really important over there, and they've done a really great job of that in each routine. You see here, second pass for Ellie. One and a half, front layout. A lot of airtime there in that 1.5 and that front layout. Huge pass for her. A great routine.
2 in a row for NC State. Going to get that lead back or get closer to the Panthers.
You can see that's why they're ranked as the 14th best floor team in the nation. Take a look here, that 1.5, huge 1.5, a lot of amplitude, but even that front layout also had a lot of amplitude as well, which is huge to see. Can be challenging to do.
Allie waiting for the opportunity to start it. Copperweight as the senior. You know, you're following a fall, and the final competitor here on beam for Pitt today, at least of ones that will count. I do expect an exhibition for Raina Garvey.
Copperweight here, again being a 5th year, but being a staple all years here at Pitt. She's somebody that you want to be an anchor, and she's very comfortable in that anchor spot. So while there is pressure on her, she has had this experience multiple times over, and she's been in this position many times. So we're looking to see here a strong routine from Copperweight to finish up this Panther rotation. Something that I love here about Hallie's beam routine is she just has great rhythm. It's easier said than done, but she just really kind of flows into each of her skills, makes them look effortless, which is something that judges love to see over in that event. Side summy here. Just a little bit of kind of a bobble there on that landing, but doesn't really give a huge balance check there. Series here, back handspring, back layout, step out. She really holds all of her landings, which is what we love to see.
Been a national qualifier multiple times on this event.
Side aerial there, just a little bit of a bobble there. Just the dismount here for Hallie. Not enough double full. Small hop with a slide back, but a hit routine, which is truly what the Panthers wanted from her in this spot, to be able to drop the fall from Morgan, but a solid way for the Panthers to finish up their rotation over on beam.
Meanwhile, NC State dropping some big scores on floor, 9-8, 7-5. As we look at the dismount.
See double full there, just a little bit of some feet separation, but a strong landing, chest was up.
Hedrick with a 9-9, and now Shania Thomas.
And somebody who is comfortable with a 9-9. She's had 2 9-9s already this season, which is a huge mark for her. So this is one of the routines to definitely watch here from the Wolfpack. Definitely one of those, she's one of those ACC athletes to watch this upcoming season. Starting off here, double pike. Unfortunately opens out just a little bit early, so has to kind of take a little stutter step forward. Thomas here, ready for her second pass. Front layout, front Rudy. She just truly floats through her gymnastics, which is what you love to see here.
Hasn't been lower than a 9.85 on the floor this year.
See last pass here for Thomas. This is the only 3-pass floor routine that they have here for the Wolfpack. 1.5 front layout, gorgeous landing. And a great way for the Wolfpack to finish up their lineup over on floor.
An interesting back and forth, different emotions on each side, but 3 fantastic finishes for NC State.
Yeah, truly making this a really challenging kind of back and forth competition. You know, Pitt unfortunately having to count a lower score over on beam. So kind of only finishing with that 48.65. They struggle a little bit over on beam on Friday night as well.
And you see Copperwheat's score. That gives the Panthers a 48.65. Marina, someone who's been in the lineup previously.
Yeah, unfortunately, Raina had a little bit of a challenging preseason, kind of getting over some injuries and everything, so she's kind of working her way back into some of these lineups here. But somebody who definitely is a seasoned competitor over on this event. That handspring layout. Unfortunately, kind of misses that front foot there and takes a fall. Split leap to a pike jump there. Another beautiful double stag jump. See the score in for Shania Thomas, 9.875. So that will give the Wolfpack a 49.15 over on floor. It's definitely, made up a little bit of ground from that last rotation and now pulls ahead of the Panthers.
Have 4 straight 49 pluses on floor for NC State. And look at those last 3 scores, 9.875, 9.9, 9.875. As after a 4.75, 9.475 to start, wondered where this might go, and NC State put the pedal down here there towards the back half of their rotation. You mentioned slightly back in the lead, as back and forth we've gone between the two, as Meg Adler is doing an exhibition for NC State.
Gorgeous front Rudy to straddle jump. Adler, a senior here for the Wolfpack, brings a lot of experience.
Last year at 8 podium finishes. Senior from Chapel Hill. Speaking of Chapel Hill, next Sunday, NC State will host North Carolina.
Battle of the North Carolinas. You know, both NC State and UNC this year have been doing very, very well. So I think we're a great competition in Carolina next weekend. Front full, front pike there. And a great exhibition routine from Adler.
So we've heard a lot of keywords heading into today's meet. Grit, toughness, fight, fun. I think that qualifies for both teams from what we've seen so far.
Absolutely. Both of them have done a really great job kind of fighting through. I mean, not every routine has been perfect for either team, but truly it's about how do you respond to that and how do you continue to build momentum when you might have a little slip up here or there. But back and forth it's been for NC State and Pitt. And
we head to the final rotation here in Pittsburgh. NC State back in the lead. Historic Fitzgerald Fieldhouse, and we are seeing a back and forth duel between NC State and the Pitt Panthers. And man, NC State really solid. Pitt got it going, and Cameron Chu on beam.
Yeah, what a night for the sophomore here. Pair of 9.9s, but this huge 9.9 over on beam, a career high for her. You can see how excited she was. Really great way for her to finish off her night over on beam.
It was a slower start for NC State, but Hattrick really spectacular.
Absolutely, a 9.9 here for this routine. Huge tumbling, great execution, and you know, the back half of that NC State lineup really kind of brought their game and really made this kind of a really, really close competition now here for NC State and Pitt.
We've gone back and forth. NC State goes to beam, the Panthers to the floor. Coming up, it is the final rotation here in Pittsburgh. Tight competition. It's the most awkward thing. You're standing there and there's a camera right there. And it's like, okay, do I pretend they're not there? And she just gave up and turned and acknowledged.
Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
As we see last minute instructions on the floor for the Panthers. What an exciting meet we've had here today. Teams going back and forth. We've seen a number of 9.9s. You see NC State will start again with Katie Harper, this time on beam. And Sanaya Thomas will be the anchor in the 6th spot. Kenzie Clark will lead off for the Panthers. She's going to bring some energy for Pitt on the floor with Mika Lee there at the end, as Harper looks to get this 4th rotation started.
You know, a very back and forth meet, and definitely would be a huge win for either team, as this would be an ACC win, like we talked about being important for the postseason and the ACC regular champions. But now with the addition of Cal and Stanford into the ACC, it truly just brings the ACC conference to another level. You know, and we have Clemson there, UNC, NC State, they've all been doing very well. But unfortunately, a little bit of an early bobble here from Katie Harper here on her series. A challenging straddle 3/4 there. So really important for both teams to really hone in on all of their landings on each event. This is a very, very tight competition.
Harper, a couple of 9.7s, 9.775. Be specific in her first 2 meets on beam this year.
Very consistent athlete on this event, which is what you want for a leadoff spot. And just the dismount here. Tucked front full. Gorgeous stuck landing there. I mean, while she had a couple of balance errors here and there, I mean, she didn't give anything away on that dismount, which is, you just want to see that kind of fight through each routine, which we've seen from multiple athletes on multiple events in this meet.
So now the Panthers for the first time. Kenzie Clark.
And definitely
Speaking of fun,
an athlete to watch for a fun routine, absolutely. A lot of personality. And we see that from many different athletes over on this event for Pitt. Opening pass here, double pike. A little bit of a chest down on that landing, but you wouldn't know from kind of her quick step back. Definitely a performer over here. You can see her making eye contact with the fans, the judges, having fun over here. Really helps to build a momentum as you're just kind of starting off here for the Panthers. Last pass here for Clark. Round off 1.5 front layout. You can see her teammates in the background having fun as well. Big smile there from Kenzie. Just a freshman here with a lot of great potential. Really solid routine there for the Panthers to start off the rotation.
and they train off the floor.
We'll take a look here at that first pass. A lot of amplitude. You can see actually her chest was down just a little bit on the landing, but truthfully important that you kind of make a quick landing and kind of try to do your best to kind of cover it up, essentially. So
Caroline Volk on beam for NC State. After a 9-6 from Harper.
Volk here, a sophomore for the Wolfpack. Very challenging triple series back handspring, back layout.
First time she was on a beam this season, 9.85.
Switch leap to tuck 3/4. You know, following a 9.6, which isn't a terrible score, however, something that you're hopefully looking to have the opportunity to drop later in the lineup here. Tucked front toss there. So far, a very strong routine here for Caroline. Just the dismount. Gainer full, stuck landing, chest was up. Solid routine there for the Wolfpack.
NC State fans here. Overalls are the thing now. On both sides.
They definitely add some fun here. You can take a look there. Some overalls from some Wolfpack fans. Sometimes the parents are just as excited as the athletes, you know, to watch their daughters go out there and compete.
9.8 for Clark, and now Jamie Pratt.
Coming off of a huge 9.875 from Friday evening over on this event. A senior that has a lot of potential over here, looking to have a repeat today. Unfortunately, kind of missed that punch there for her front double full, so gets lost in the air and comes off the floor with a fall. So again, this will be a routine that hopefully the Panthers will look to drop. It is still extremely important. She still has another pass here to really execute that very, very well, because you never quite know what routines will count. 1.5 front layout. Unfortunately there for Pratt. It's a beautiful second pass.
Jamie Pratt on floor, a 9.8 for Caroline Volk for NC State. It is that point of the meet where you're looking back and forth between these two.
Yeah, and unfortunately there you can kind of see she really kind of bent her legs on the punch, which kind of doesn't give you any ability to kind of get into that huge double front full there.
Now Autumn Reard would be in the all-around except for an exhibition to start.
You know, and although she has the all-around potential, I mean, she was in an exhibition slot, which means that she has the ability to compete all 4 events. She's vying for a spot there in that one lineup, but overall, very strong competitor. Really nice series, front toss to back handspring. Following a 9.8, looking to continue that momentum here for the Wolfpack. Her eyes have been up the entire time this beam routine, showing you that she's confident over on this event. Switch leap into a pike front gainer. A stuck landing. Huge routine there for the Wolfpack. They're really continuing to kind of vie for that spot and kind of keep that lead over the Panthers.
Pitt's gonna get this tonight. They're gonna earn it. And a big opportunity here for Olivia Genta to get the Panthers back going in the right direction.
Again, just like we kind of mentioned multiple times, not an ideal spot for the Panthers to be in. Now every routine will truly count, and hopefully, you know, every score will continue to kind of count. But that just puts a little pressure on the athletes, but nothing that they can't handle, and really showing, you know, what it is like to be a competitor over on multiple events.
First time on floor this year, 3 times last year. Sophomore from Hinsdale, Illinois, as the judges discuss. NC State throwing up a couple of good numbers on beam.
You see here the judges conferencing, probably deciding about what they want to do about that first pass, you know, with start value and everything. So it looks like they have now sorted it out, so they're getting ready to show a score here for Pratt and then move on here to Genta. Look here as Genta is ready to make her season debut over on this event. We see what the fans can't see is all these young athletes kind of down at the front here, excited to cheer their Panther fans on. A lot of young eyes watching all these athletes, looking up to them being in the NCAA.
Do you remember being one of them?
Absolutely, I remember being one of them. That was one of the highlights, was having a weekend where you're competing in club gymnastics and then going to watch one of your favorite college gymnastics meets. So you can see there all those young athletes. I'm sure many of them aspire to have an opportunity to compete in the NCAA one year. Looking up to all these, you know, college athletes is really fun.
We could probably save that video, and one of them, if not multiple ones, will be out there one day. And they'll look back and say, oh, that was me.
And NCAA gymnastics has really grown over the past couple of years now, making multiple debuts, and even the NCAA championships have been on ABC before, which is exciting.
All right, Genta now for Pitt.
here. Her opening pass, double tuck. Really strong landing there. Her chest was up. You know, maybe her floor debut for this season, but she does have experience over in this event, like you had said, Jeff. She's been here 3 separate times before, so she's not a newbie to floor. She's looking to have a great experience here. Second pass here for Junta. Round off, front half into Rudy. Solid landing there for Junta.
Copperwheat, Maddie Bell, and Mika Lee, the final 3 performers.
A solid routine here for the Panthers, kind of bringing back that lineup, hoping to kind of build back that momentum as we follow through with our final 3 competitors over for the Panthers. We'll take a look here. Here's that opening pass, that double tuck, huge double tuck. Chest was really nice and upright on that landing. You see that whip half into a front Rudy.
Amanda Wellick in the back, assistant coach. Maddie Hall now for NC State. Twice on beam, last time out, 9.725. From Virginia, had a career best on beam against Pitt last year.
Really strong series there by handstand back layout. Full turn, just a little bit of a balance check there. Skill that sometimes the most simplistic that can give you just a little bit of an error. Gorgeous switch half. I really like how she extended that leap and hit that 180. Front aerial to beat jump. Just the dismount here. Side gainer full, stuck landing. Another super strong routine. Wolfpack will be very excited about that one as well. They're really kind of bringing it for these final competitors and really making it a challenge back and forth.
Yeah, they're not opening the door for Pitt. They're forcing Pitt to knock that door down in order to get this victory here this afternoon. Now Hallie Copperwheat only has a couple of these left in this building.
It's always exciting competing at home, and the best part about competing at home is you go in Olympic order, meaning you finish over on floor exercise, which historically is sometimes the most exciting event for an athlete to compete. It is the most fun sometimes. And the crowd gets involved, and it's always a really fun time there for the athlete and for the fans.
All right, and 9-7 for Genta.
You know, a solid score, but unfortunately not going to be quite enough. We really want to kind of see that 9-8 mark plus.
She have another career floor performance.
Copperwheat coming off of just a 9.5 from Friday's competition. Looking to kind of a little bit of a better performance here tonight in the field house at home. Starting off here with the round off 1.5 front layout. Gorgeous landing. Job hitting those leaps and being very precise with her positioning there.
Career high is 9.875.
Second pass here, double tuck. Really great chest to up landing. just the third pass here. One of the only Panthers here in this floor lineup that has 3 separate passes. Ending here with the double pike. She really pulled that landing around there. Chest was down just a little bit, but really kind of fights through it. Take a look here at this first pass, this double salto pass, 1.5 front layout. Great form there. Take a look here at this last pass. She didn't quite get the height that she needed, but she really kind of pulled that double pike around, pulled her legs through to help kind of finish that rotation at the end.
Addison Tackett quickly up on beam for NC State after 9-7-7-5, 2 in a row. This one, latest one from Maddie Hall.
Tackett has actually won this event already as a freshman.
Against Cal, freshman from Myrtle Beach.
You see here, she gets ready for her series, back hand swing, back layout, step out. Not a single movement there. I really like how she held that landing. Switch leap to wolf 3/4. Gorgeous kind of needle position there. I love when the athletes are able to show some unique skills and some unique kind of talents. Very challenging flexibility skill there that just shows that she's very comfortable over on this event. Just the dismount, back hand swing 1.5. Opens out just a little bit early, so takes a step back. But a solid, again, a solid hit routine there for Wolfpack.
And 5 hit routines for NC State.
So at this point, you know, NC State's really just trying to improve their overall score. You know, that I know hopefully will probably be a little bit higher than the starting athlete with that 9.6. So now, you know, at this point, Sanaya Thomas only has the opportunity to help increase their score.
Maddie Bell and Mika Lee will have to put together some unbelievable performances here for the Panthers. Copperweed a 9.65. Freshman from Virginia.
Another great performer here. She's a lot of, you know, great tumbling, huge Rudy layout step out. I love all the amplitude that she had in that pass. Showing off her routine here to a little Beyonce.
Got something exciting going when the opposing team is starting to dance with you. I was just looking over at NC State. Now they're in with the bonus opportunity coming up. Maddie catching the attention.
Just the last pass here for Bell. Up by handspring, double tuck. A really great landing. I loved her amplitude. Her chest was up. Really fun routine for the Panthers. You can see that she is excited about that. So are her teammates. Take a look at this last pass here.
The height.
A lot of height. Her chest was up. Great landing. You can see she knew it as soon as she landed. She was thrilled about that.
Sanaya Thomas right at 9.875 on the floor. Now finishing up on beam.
Like I said, at this point, NC State is just looking to kind of drop that 9.6 from earlier. So far they've had 5 hit routines. Front aerial, back handspring, step out. far. Really strong routine here from Sanaya. She looks very comfortable up there. Always great when you're the anchor and you don't have as much pressure on you. You're just able to kind of take your time, showcase every landing. And just the dismount here. Back handspring to a gainer full stuck landing. Fantastic way for the Wolfpack to finish off that lineup. You can see she seems thrilled about that.
You know, the pressure is on NC State when you're in a duel and you're finishing up on beam and you hit all 6. They stepped up, and now Mika Lee on floor. 9.85 for Maddie Bell.
We truly need a huge score here from Lee. Seems like most likely probably like a perfect 10 to really kind of tie this up. Be a challenge, but a huge performer here. Front double full, an E skill, a really challenging skill. She has a lot of potential over in this event. She's, again, only a sophomore, but is a truly great performer over here and has experience as she competed in this event multiple times last year. What I love about Mika's floor routine is she has a lot of personality that she shows here. Maybe just a little bit different here with some Halsey music. She really kind of takes her dance to the next level. Her last pass here. Whip front half into a Rudy, gorgeous landing. A really great routine here for Lee. She's following a huge 9.85 from Maddie Bell. A great way for her to end her night. And a great way for the Panthers to kind of round out this meet.
There will be an exhibition for NC State on beam. Jenna Rusk. So we await the final score, 9.825 for Thomas, which ties Tackett for best for NC State. Again, they stepped up on beam and just killed it.
Absolutely, they showed a lot of fight over on that event, and you know, this kind of marks that they got a 49 over on that event, and they're just shy of kind of a 196, finishing with an unofficial 195.875. Starting off with that handspring back layout, moves that front foot just a little bit, kind of has a little bit of a balance error there. Switch leap kind of breaks that connection there. Cat leap into a really challenging kind of leap combo there. Split half. I've really enjoyed her leap combos over on this exhibition routine. Gorgeous kind of showcase there. Again, some just flexibility and just a way to add a little bit of flavor and unique personality to your beam routine, which can be challenging. Handspring 1.5, small hop forward, a solid exhibition routine here for the Wolfpack.
NC State celebrating a win here, what will be a win here in Pittsburgh, and evening the record at 2-2. Exhibition for the Panthers, Mackenzie Grant.
Grant here, freshman out of Canada. Huge double pike. A lot of height on that pass. Front full into front pike. Just the last pass here for Grant. So far, a really strong exhibition routine here from Grant. Double tuck. A little bit of a chest down landing. A lot of potential here to kind of break a spot in that lineup.
Looking to show yourself in exhibitions, and Mackenzie Grant, the solid performance. Really good performance by the Panthers, and even better performance for NC State. We've got final scores and individual champions as we continue here in Pittsburgh. Welcome back to the Fitzgerald Fieldhouse. A tight competition between Pitt and NC State, but NC State pulls it out. Some really good performances here from the Wolfpack.
Yeah, NC State really kind of rallied together over on that event. They did a great job. You know, we will take a look here at Tackett's routine, 9825. You know, like I said, she's already had one career win here on this event this season, but a great routine here to really kind of lead the Wolfpack to the victory here.
And for the Panthers, Maddie Bell, very young, but very impressive here tonight.
Yeah, huge 985 with this routine here. I mean, she did a great performance. She had a lot of fun. You can see it on her face. She was just really thrilled to be out there and had a great performance here, and a great way for kind of Pitt to end, you know, their career, their season high so far overall. But you can see the Wolfpack, they're really excited with their win, their ACC win this second ACC win this season.
And you know, trailing after the second rotation, a 49.15 on floor and a 49 on beam.
Yeah.
They didn't leave any opportunities or give anything to the Panthers.
Absolutely. I mean, what a way to respond to being down at the second rotation. You know, they came back really strong over on floor and then over on beam with that 49 plus rotation. Great way for them to kind of finish off and kind of, like I said, kind of keep fighting through this meet. And what a great job, and congratulations to them. We'll take a look here. A couple athletes who had a great evening. Sanaya Thomas, you know, again, a fantastic athlete, starting off with that huge Yurchenko full. And she started off her meet absolutely fantastic over there on ball, and then carried it over to multiple events, and then over on floor. Take a look. Huge routine here. She's a huge performer over on floor, already scoring 2 99 pluses this season, and rounding out her night over on balance beam for a, you know, anchor spot. Huge score, 9825 there, helping to lead the Wolfpack to their, you know, second ACC victory of the season so far.
Thomas wasn't the only one to have a really big night. Cameron Chu, pair of 9.9s.
Yeah, just a sophomore here, really kind of finding her footing, starting off her evening over on bars with this huge 9.9 routine, something that she's been working for all season here. Absolutely just nails her landing, and you know, not only did she kind of carry that momentum from bars, then she responded right over to beam here with a second 9.9 of the evening. 2 career highs for her this evening. Another stuck landing. She really had a great evening, and what a way for her to end out her night.
As we get set for the scores here between the Wolfpack and Panthers, it is a season high score for Pitt. And really went down to the wire. Some things, you know, Casey Joe and also Kim talked about it's about improving every day. working on all those details. And while both teams can look at things that they can improve on, both came here on a Sunday late afternoon and performed very well, as you see the two head coaches talking. And Casey Joe has a lot of respect for what Kim has done to continue the tradition at NC State. Sometimes that can be harder than trying to build something from the beginning.
Absolutely. I mean, they both have very challenging jobs, right? Making sure that they're kind of continuing to grow their program, challenge their athletes, recruit really competitive athletes, which I think both programs have done very, very well. And, you know, it's still early in the season, so there are still lots of opportunities for growth. And now that we're kind of, you know, in kind of week 4 or 5 of season, we're really hoping to kind of dial in those lineups, those landings. You know, it's all those little tiny things that make a big difference for postseason.
And opportunities for you to see ACC gymnastics on the ACC network starting on Saturday with top 20 matchup between Cal and Clemson, and then UNC NC State next Sunday at 4 o'clock. The Panthers take on the Tigers in a couple of weeks at 4 o'clock, and then you see BYU and Clemson on Friday, March 13th. Those are all on the ACC network. It's good to see women's gymnastics getting an opportunity on the main network.
Absolutely.
That NC State UNC should be something.
Yeah, absolutely love to see it. I mean, like I said, ACC gymnastics has really continued to elevate, and, you know, NCAA gymnastics as a whole has continued to elevate. You know, you see it on all the big channels and out on TV.
Let's go down to Colin Sisk, the public address announcer here at the University of Pittsburgh. He's got final scores for this meet between the Panthers and NC State. ACC action here from Pittsburgh.
Ladies and gentlemen, the director attention to the floor as we begin our award ceremony. We'll begin with our individual event titles, starting with vault. For the NC State Wolfpack with a score of 9.875, Sanaya Thomas. We'll next move to the uneven bars. It's a two-way tie for the title on bars with a score of 9.90. For the Pitt Panthers, Cameron Chu. And also for the Pitt Panthers, Hallie Copperweed. We'll now move to the balance beam. On beam, with a score of 9.90 for the Pitt Panthers, Cameron Chu. We'll now move to the floor exercise. On floor, with a score of 9.90 from the NC State Wolfpack, Ellie Hadrick. We'll conclude individual titles with the all-around. In the all-around competition, with a 4-event score of 38.675 for the NC State Wolfpack, Autumn Reardon. We'll now move to the team scores. In second place, with a team score of 195.525, the Pitt Panthers. And in first place, with a score of 195.875, the NC State Wolfpack. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for joining us for today's meet.
NC State here in this duel. Just a couple of thoughts, Olivia, before we go on the performances of both of these teams.
Yeah, I think both teams truly did a great job, you know, in all of their lineups. They showed a lot of fight, a lot of grit, you know, and like I said, not every routine was perfect. However, they responded to each of those things very, very well with a lot of poise and execution.
Congratulations to both teams. NC State wins here this afternoon, 195.875 to 195.525. It was back and forth at times between these two teams in this key duel for both. Our thanks to our outstanding crew, for Olivia Miller, I am Jeff Hathorn saying good night from Pittsburgh as the Wolfpack beat the Panthers.